Okay. The next thing that I'd like to show you is the difference in how you can grade assignments with the different grading methods. This is a fairly new feature, so I'm not going to go into extensive detail, and it's all in the handouts that you have. But basically, you now have the opportunity in Moodle to either grade by just reading it yourself and then, grading it with the points. You can use a rubric within Moodle, or you can use a checklist within Moodle. I'll show you what those look like. So I have 3 versions of this assignment here. Okay, so I have 3 versions of the assignment. I have the standard one, I have the with a rubric, and I have the checklist. So if I go to the standard one, submit annotated bibliography, I can go and view the submitted assignment. I only have 1 test in here. But you'll see all the submitted assignments. You'll see I graded this once already. I can scroll over, I can view the assignment. I can go ahead over here. Now it would say grade if I'd not yet graded it, but I'm going to say update here so you can see what the grading screen looks like. The submission itself is right here in Word format. The grade that I chose is here. I could update that as many times as I wanted to. I could type in feedback, or I could upload a file that had, if it was a track changes or annotated file, I can upload that here. And then I can save changes. And that is what submits the grade to the student. And I can actually save and go to the next student through here and go through my whole grade book for this assignment, grade, entering those grades manually, and then be done. So the grading for the standard default grading is right here. This is exactly what it looks like. So you'll be able to go student by student and go through and grade these assignments. You can get to it through the Grade Center, yes, but you will be taken back to the assignment screen to view the submissions. So the annotated bibliography with rubric looks kind of like this. Now I have a rubric. I have a rubric in PDF that I have uploaded to my class, but what Moodle allows you to do is enter that rubric into Moodle and grade using it across the screen. Here's the weird thing. You have to go down to advanced grading to manage the rubric. It's one of my least favorite features of how you get to it, but when you go to advanced grading, you then get the opportunity to create or define a rubric. I'm going to actually just jump to the front screen and turn editing off for a minute because it makes it easier to view. So I'll go to annotated bibliography with rubric. I'm going down to the bottom, clicking advanced grading. Okay, now you can see my rubric. So I have these 3 categories, 0 points, 3 points, and 5 points. I have these different criteria for these points, and the student can view this rubric under advanced grading, and I will grade using this rubric. One thing that I will mention, some people are using rubrics now where you have a 0 to 5, 5 to 10, and 10 to 15. You can't really do that in Moodle. It has to be 0, 1, 2 or 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's no granularity, and I will show you why. It makes sense from a computer perspective. It's just kind of annoying from a grading perspective if you're used to grading with a range within a category in a rubric. So if I again view the submitted assignment, this is the same assignment as I did before. Victor Hawk here submitted an assignment. It says grade here for the ones of ungraded, but I only have 1, so I'm just going to click update. So here's the rubric. So now I can click on this part of the rubric and say, you know what, you didn't do this. Your overview was short, and you didn't include the section on hawk feathers we discussed. Okay, so I gave him feedback right in that category, telling him exactly what he did wrong there. Here, he did include the citations he needed. He had all of the words or all of the items that he needed in the annotation. I can give additional feedback. I can upload a file again, just like before. And then Moodle adds the grade together for me. So I'm going to save changes there. And says you got 20 out of 25 points based on the categories in the rubric I clicked. What's useful for this, for the student in particular, is they see exactly where they might have fallen short on an assignment. And lets you be very clear, as you are with rubrics, about what the expectations are for the student using that rubric. The interesting thing about this whole process is it actually made me think about my assignment. It made me think, you know what, my annotated bibliography assignment is really more, needs a checklist, not a rubric. In my particular assignment, I'm looking for certain things. And if those things aren't there, they don't get the points. So I will show you what the checklist looks like. So here's a checklist. So I have turned in on time, which he did, that was 2 points, but it wasn't the right length and it didn't include the revision. And so I could put description under each of those items, and then I can put a description under the category of this checklist. I have additional points here, including the right citations. So I've checked each of those items. Yes, they got 3 articles, he had 2 books, he had 1 website, he had a reference resource, he had 3 other resources. So check, 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 gets all the 10 points for that category. So it's kind of like the rubric. I'm still making my expectations very, very clear. I'm still showing the student where he fell down, and then I can save this. Yep, so in the checklist, it's just like creating the rubric. I just enter in that information, I enter in the point values, and then when I'm grading, I go check, 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 check. The good news is if you create this once and you keep the same rubric for multiple semesters, you can just export it with a class and import it into a new one. So you don't only have to do this once if you keep the same rubric and then edit it. It's the same with the rubric. So if I go to the checklist here and down, again, this is that dumb thing where you have to go down to advanced gradings all the way on the bottom. I can then either edit or define a new checklist. So I'm going to edit this current form. And this looks very much the same in both the rubric and the checklist. I can put in the checklist information, I can add an item, or I can add a category, add a group is what it's called. And so I can have a group and then add additional details under that group. So for example, in this assignment, I have 10 annotations they're supposed to do, and they're supposed to have these qualities in it. And I could have a group for annotation 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and grade each of those individually on a checklist. I could also grade them in aggregate and decide that, say, you know what, if they kind of get this, I'm going to give them all the points, and if they don't, I won't. It just kind of depends on how you want to grade that. But the same goes in the rubric. You can define how many levels you have and how many different descriptors you have and what each of the point values are worth so that the student knows exactly what they're being graded on. So down here under settings on the left is advanced grading. And now I can change that here. So instead of going to my assignment settings, if I just go to advanced grading all the way in the lower left-hand side of the course, I could change that.
Can you get advanced grading to appear on the lower left-hand side?
This is, it should just be by default. If you're looking, if we're in the assignment itself, all the way down on the left under settings is advanced grading. Or the checklist.
Template, it said there is none.
That's right. Well, the template is a global template. There are no templates.
Okay.
So just use the define new. Yep.
Okay.
So if I change this to rubric, for example, I need to define a new grading rubric from scratch. As we go through this and as we have, say there are multiple sections of certain classes, we can create templates, but then they're available for the whole campus. If you're fine with that, that's great. We're happy to have them. But they're global templates, not, templates for you.